What's up everyone, thanks for stopping by. I've been a bit late with these two figures. This is the S.H.Figuarts double pack limited edition of Spider-Man Homecoming homemade suit version on the left with Iron Man Mk-47. You can get the Spider-Man homemade suit version as a standalone figure. You should still be able to get it for the usual price right now, around that. But I think in order to get Iron Man Mk-47, you had to buy the limited edition double pack, which was exclusive to the Tamashi Premium Bandai web store in Japan. Which has now actually raised in price a little bit. But I will go through the figures and the optional parts. The optional parts are laid out in front of you for both homemade suit and Iron Man Mk-47. Straight away you can tell neither of them get alternate heads, which is a bit disappointing, a bit let down with that. I mean, you're paying for a double pack, you might as well get treated to some bonuses, but I'll dwell on that later on in the video. So I'm going to go to the figures first this time, and then then go through the optional parts. So let's go with Spider-Man first. So Spider-Man, he's pretty plain looking. There's not a lot to really say about this homemade suit version. He's wearing his red hoodie with the red socks and then red sneakers, and then he's wearing a blue jumpsuit underneath. Not much else. And then yeah, he's got the lenses inside his mask. Like I said, he doesn't come with an alternate head, and he doesn't even come with alternate lenses. So you just kind of have to work with what you're given. He does come with the hood, which is here, and I'll show you how to put that on in a moment. But first, let's take a closer look at the figure itself. So the details on his lenses, what you'd expect from a camera lens, can be seen right there. The ridges on them, so that's all good. His hood, by the way, this is the when he's not wearing it, there's a little peg inside, but it's kind of loose. I'll show you that more closely soon. On the back of him, there is this piece that you just kind of use your fingernail and pull it out, and then you can put this little piece in the back into him. So if you have a stand which is sold separately, then you can get him into more airborne poses. Further down, he's got the ribbing on his hoodie. The socks also have the detailing on there. Sneakers, not really a lot to say about the sneakers. Underneath, pretty plain. And his gloves, yep, all good. And his web shooters as well, homemade web shooters on him. So let's go through the articulation quickly. So he can look up, fairly minimal, not too much. Squeeze the hood. He can look down a fair decent amount, and then he can look right and left, and then move his head side to side. So all in all, pretty ordinary stuff. His arms, his shoulders come out a little bit, enough that he can cross over both arms. And then do like a double arm swing. If you might have to kind of push them together and maybe use some like plasticine or something to hold them, but he can pretty much get them halfway across his body. And his arm swings all the way around at the shoulder. He doesn't have bicep swivel, sadly. Iron Man does, which is a bit weird. And then he's got the bicep curl. And then further down on his wrist, he can twist his wrist, and then his wrist does go up and down. My joints were a little bit tight in some areas, so I just get a hairdryer and just very briefly heat it up a little bit, or just rub it between your hands. His web shooters do actually twist a little bit on his wrist, but I didn't want to force it too much, just in case it wasn't meant to actually do that. So you don't really need to do that anyway. It's only when you're kind of moving his hand a bit, and realistically they shouldn't really go all the way around anyway, because he shouldn't need to. And then further down, so crunching wise, he can crunch a little bit forward, but obviously the hood gets in the way a bit. Speaking of the hood, I should have shown the spider motif on it a bit more in the zipper, which you can see here. And leaning back, he can do a decent amount. And then twisting right and left. That's okay. And he's got a lower twist towards his hip and belly area, but it's not too much. You can see it from the back side. Sorry, that looks weird. If you bend him down, you'll see the joint that lets you kind of do this on a little ball there. Which does lead me to say that, yeah, sometimes depending on the pose you're going to get him in, you will leave him with really, really exposed areas. And that was just just the major one, really. But anyway, yeah, so his leg, he can kick up pretty normal, is fine, but he can't move his leg back a lot. That's about as far back as he goes, because his butt gets in the way. That's like spider butt does whatever any butt does, I guess. but weirdly he can't move his leg back as much as, say, Iron Man behind him, which, yeah, is just a bit awkward given he's Spider-Man and you should be a bit more, flexible. But whatever. He does have a thigh swivel, so you can do that. And then he can actually do the splits reasonably well, like so. And then for the knee, bends like so. And then further to the ankle, it's the usual rocker, and up and down. And then the toe actually ends up going the other way as well. But he doesn't have any calf swivel, so that's a bit of a bummer as well. Especially for Spider-Man, which you really want to have as much articulation and mobility as possible. So you probably just saw as well with the bottom of his hood, if you want to lift his legs up, the waistband area of his hood does rise up quite high, so that lets you really bring up his legs, so you can really get close to these kind of poses that you really want him to be in. You'll see that his leg joints, they use I forgot which version of the fighter body thing that they use, the new body mode, tech or whatever you want to call it, they use for articulation. But you can see, you can kind of move that around to get his legs swinging a little bit. But again, that's about as far as you're going to get. You're not going to get too much. That's his butt still is in a way with that. But if you want it straight, it's just not going to happen. Paint wise, I've just noticed as well that it has peeled. It's kind of rubbed off a little bit there. But I kind of expect that. I mean, it's one of those areas where there's going to be a lot more friction on the figure and most figures. So that's Spider-Man. You can take off his hand. You can you can take off his head, but there's no point with this one because he doesn't have an alternate head. I'll show you how to take off his hand and swap the hood after I go through Iron Man. So I'm going to put Spider-Man to the side. If I forgot anything about him, I will bring him back out. But let's go with Iron Man now. So this is Iron Man Mk-47. He's taller, by the way, compared to Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man, when I measured him, he was around 15, and Iron Man here is more closer to around 16 centimeters. So Iron Man, I'm going to bend him down a little bit just because he's a bit too tall for the camera. So Iron Man Mk-47, this is pretty much a repaint of the Mk-46 for the Civil War Figuarts line. I didn't actually open my versions that came. I should really have done that, but it's, you either like it or you don't. I remember the last one I did open was Mk-45 from Age of Ultron, and that was one of my favorite figures from that entire lineup that they did. So this one is still really good. He looks amazing. The paint's great. The silver paint is great. The red paints are great. The gold paints are great. Iron Man is just a really, really appealing design, aesthetically speaking. So they've done a really good job on him. Regardless of whether it's just a mere repaint of Mk-46 or not. So in terms of movement, so he can move his head side to side like so, but he's got the addition of, he can do that sort of motion. I'm not sure the actual term of it, but yeah, he can do a little bit of a dance with his head. He can look up very, very a little bit. Well, actually a decent amount. So you just kind of pull his head back and then down. It's a decent amount as well. Shoulder wise, first he can, the shoulder flaps do lift up. So it gives him the additional range that he can go up. His whole arm, does twist all the way around. Like so. I'll try to be gentle with it because I don't really want to scuff the paint, because you can scuff it around the shoulder area and other areas. Bicep, he can twist right here. Like I said, Spider-Man doesn't have it. In terms of bicep curls, he can bring that. I should also point out, as you might have just noticed now, his arms can be pulled down to give him, again, extra range of motion. But generally speaking, they'll be up here like that. Depends what pose you're going to get him in. So moving down further to his wrist, so he can twist it around, of course, and then he can move it up and down. With his regular fists that he comes with, the armor here will stop him from going further, as you can see. So it's not a big deal, really. You're not really going to get him into that kind of pose with his hands going backwards, but it's cool. Of course, there's details and the reactor stuff on his chest and all the other armor detailing that you would really expect to see. So it's nice. It's really, really nice figure. These flaps on the back do not open. They're kind of raised, but yeah, they don't do much else. So crunch wise, he can't crunch too much. So let's see. There we go. It's okay. Let me get rid of his hand so you can see that clearly. It's fine. Leaning back, it's okay. In terms of exposed joints, you might get just above his butt there, but again, if you've creative enough and avoiding it, it should be easy to do. He can twist right and left. He's got better twist than Spider-Man does in the lower area. So as you can see right there, he's twisting a lot better than Spider-Man can, which again is just very strange given that Spider-Man is the one you really want this kind of mobility with and motion. Leg-wise, so if you just want to bring his leg up a little bit in his normal place, it can't go up very much. As you can see, it just stops him. But this one uses the pull-down leg technology, or if you want to call it that, and then that gives him a lot more range of motion, and it does make him taller. So similar to the arms, but this allows his leg to go all the way up, kick all the way up. But be careful here. So this can come off as well. The paint around the groin area can rub off, but it will leave marks as well once it connects. I'm not sure how clear it will be, but you'll see like faint lines on his upper thigh on both legs just by doing like this. I'm not even really touching it, but it will end up causing some minor scuff on his upper thigh. I don't remember really seeing that on Mark 45 when I opened it, but just keep that in mind. So moving his leg back, he can do, well again, this is his leg pull down and moving back. So he can move it back more than Spider-Man can. Again, a very weird decision, comparison. And then he can also do splits. I haven't pulled his right leg down, but yeah, he can do the splits. His knee joint can go all the way back like so. And then they've kind of got that real extended look to it to try and hide it. It's up to you if you like it or not, obviously subjective. His knee cap doesn't come off. It's not a flap or anything. Similar, by the way, to his elbow. Just to show you, it doesn't come off. And then his foot. So his foot does go up and down a little bit, not too much. You can lift the flap here. He does have a little bit of a pivot, but it was quite stiff when I was trying it. But here you go, just to show you it can be done. So when you do first take it out of the pack, warm it up a little bit. Don't heat it too much with a hairdryer. Just again rub it between your hands or something, and then loosen it up a bit because it's quite stiff. I do believe his feet are die cast because it was quite cold to the touch. It's quite heavy as well. So if you're going to try and pose him, his legs will drop down like so. He's heavy on the legs, which is a good thing because it allows him to stand pretty decently. So that's pretty much Iron Man's articulation. If I forgot anything again, I will go over it. But overall, Iron Man is a pretty sweet looking figure. I really like the way he looks in the Mark 47 color. I'm not a huge fan of the character actually, but I love the design and what S.H.Figuarts have done with all their figures for Iron Man. So that's the figures. Now let's go bring back Spider-Man again, and then go through his optional parts. So like I said, neither of them come with optional heads, so that's a bit of a bummer, but they come with other stuff. So let's go with his hood first. So like I said, with his hood, he has a little peg on the back side of his hood that goes inside there. It's not the strongest of holds, but whatever. So dash that to the side and then put the regular hood on. Regular hood is an open piece here. Nothing you need to do, you just put it over his head, and that's it. That's really all there is to it. He looks good though. He looks good. So that's his hood. I'm going to take it off now, just so it doesn't get in the way. And then let's go with his hand. Change his hand. His regular sort of mechanism, like any other figure. Pull the hand off. Again, heat it up if you need to. I'm going to go with his web hand. So I'm going to do a 2-in-1. So let's get his regular web hand that everyone recognizes. So with the 2 fingers out and the thumb as well. And you can just put it, connect it regular if you want, but I'm going to do the webbing. So if you have seen my video or anyone else's other video or pictures in general of the actual Spider-Man suit from Spider-Man Homecoming, this is the same way that you do it. So you put the webbing on top of the joint. Haven't unlined it properly yet, but then all you do is you just sandwich the web piece with the hand and then his wrist, and then yeah, that's it. It's not as snug as without the web, so you always have to be careful with that, but that's how it is. It's just really that simple. Like I said, it's not snug, so it does come off easily, but I'll just show you you'll hear the click once it's a snug fit without the webbing. So that's just his regular hand. But I will show you the other hands that he comes with. I'm going to put him down again. So he comes with the regular hand. He comes with two pairs, the left and the right. Sorry, one pair, but a pair of hands. So the left and the right. So right to the side. The fists that you've seen, he comes with these relaxed palms. Like so. There you go. And then the same detail is on all of them as well, so that fingerless gloves. Put that to the side. Comes with his web crawler hands, or his dashing away hands, or reactive hands. But yeah, typically his crawler hands. So on the tips of his fingers. A pair of those. Then he comes with these web shooting hands. I can't remember the exact moment he uses them in the film, but hey, you get them anyway. I know the original suit, the actual Spider-Man suit, Figuarts figure came with the same hands as well. So these are not really new to me. And this one is the web grabbing hand. So this one holds on to the longest piece of webbing that you get. So I'll show you. So I've shown you the short piece. This is a very, very short piece of web that you get. You get a medium piece, which is this. And then you get a very long piece. So this one doesn't shoot out of his wrist. This one is one that he holds. So you feed this hook bit into either hand, the left or the right. I'm going to hook it into his left hand. And that's it. And then you maneuver it how you want to do it. This is a straight piece. Well, yeah, it's a fairly straight piece. Try not to bend it because you will end up snapping it off. I did bend it a little bit, like not too much to snap it off, but you'll notice straight away that it's not one that you will want to bend. So keep that in mind. So that's that piece. And I mentioned this little red bit here. This is just for the stand that you have separately, and then you take it out, take this piece out from his back, and then you just put this in as a replacement. So that's Spider-Man, and his optional parts. I've just flung the stand bit out the way. So I'm going to lay him down here, move his hood aside. Now let's bring back Iron Man again. So Iron Man Mk-47. I believe, from my memory, his hands are quite similar to the Mk-45. Clearly, he doesn't come with as many hands as Spider-Man does. And likewise, he doesn't come with any alternate head, no Tony Stark head, nothing like that. So just going to change his hands. So again, heat it up if you've got any issues. Comes off easily. And I'm going to go with his effect piece hand. So this one has the extra peg coming out of his hand to add the effect piece. So let's just add it on. Detail wise, if you recall, I mentioned with the regular fist, the hand armor won't let his hand go up too much, but this one, of course, they've raised it so it allows him to get the repulsor ray blast motion properly done. So with that, he comes with optional effect pieces. So he comes with a short one here and a medium one, a long one, and then 2 feet ones. So this is, I'm going to put the short one on. All you do is you just place it onto the peg. It's really that simple. Pew pew, right? I'll show you the other one. So this is the slightly longer one. I'll compare the sizes in just a moment. Same thing, put it on, like so, and it's just a longer beam. These are soft plastic, so yours may come a little bit, curved or bent, but don't worry too much about it. It's very soft. If you do have a major issue with it, again, heat it up, and then try and straighten it out. So just to compare the size of the two blasts. So here you go. So long one on the top, small one on the bottom. So those are his 2 hand ones. The other hands that he comes with, before I work to his feet, are going to be the pair of relaxed palms. So these ones don't have any effect peg on them. They are just relaxed palms. Use them however you want, whether it's grabbing someone's face or I don't know, however you want. And then he comes with the flat palms. Again, a pair of flat palms with the armor detailing on the back of the hand, and then on the front. I've got the hands the other way around, but you get the idea. And then, yeah, I've just shown you the effect hand. So he comes with the left and right. Here's the other hand with the peg sticking out. Finally, for him, for his effect piece, he does come with 2 for his feet, which you just push in like so. It's quite simple. There's really not a lot to him. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science with him. And it's pretty much what I recall and remember from his Mk-45 days in Age of Ultron. So that's simple. He looks really good. Now then, now that I've covered everything, overall my thoughts are Iron Man looks great. The paint on him is great. He's really got this nice metallic finish. Spider-Man is more plain. I mean, there's not a lot to really say about him. There's a lack of shading and all that stuff with him. But he's okay. I mean, he's supposed to be a very plain and regular looking, just a really bad suit, really. So it's not too bad. But I do wish that they supplied alternate heads for both of them, whether it was alternate lenses maybe, or the actor's likeness or something for both of them. That would have been really great. Purely because this is a double pack. It was a limited edition from their website. So in order to make it more special, I think they could have gone one step, maybe two steps ahead. So not just the faces, but including a stand. I think this is not the first time they've done a double pack. So if you look at my videos, they've done it for Pokemon as well, and they don't include stands. I wish they would for more limited edition stuff, just to make it much more appealing to the buyer. Like, I'm just a buyer. I buy these like anyone else. So make it more appealing, much more attractive, much more worth that extra cost. So I paid roughly for the double pack. I paid around 14,000 yen, including shipping. Current price, I believe, is hovering around 16,000 yen without shipping. So you are getting charged more now. By all means, it's not the cheapest set of figures that you're gonna get. These Figuarts cost more than Marvel Legends anyway, but because it's a limited edition, they add extra, fee on top for that reason, for exclusivity or whatever. So you are gonna be paying quite a bit for it. So keep that all in mind. If you really don't care about Iron Man Mark 47 and you're okay with, say, getting the Mark 46 and repainting it yourself, then you can do that. And then you should just get this homemade Spider-Man Homecoming figure separately. I think he should still be, fairly easy and reasonably priced to get. All in all, though, I do like the set. It's a cool set. If you want to see the box and the packaging, that will follow after the end of this video with photos of the two guys in action as well. Remember, because it's a limited edition, you should get the shipper box with it. Some people won't give you the shipper box, but generally web exclusive Figuart boxes, editions, figures should come with the brown shipper box. So again, follow through to the rest of the video, end of the video, where I'll show that in all its glory. So thanks for watching. I will hope to see you in my next video. Oh, there goes Iron Man. Hope to see you in my next video. Check out all the other videos where I cover a bunch of other Figuarts. I will be covering the Avengers Infinity War Figuarts, which went on pre-order earlier this week, which I'm super excited about. Black Panther, Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Spider. So the Iron Spider outfit. Black Widow, who else was there? Those are the ones I'm most interested in. Oh, and Thanos. Who could forget Thanos? So yeah, keep it real. Peace out. Stay healthy. All of that. See you next time.